Hey, and welcome back to Talk a Better World. I'm SirFelixTheCat, and this is Nerd Talk Thursday. Have you ever had a favorite book or movie or TV show, something, and you want it to become another form of entertainment? Like, let's say you see John Wick and you're like, oh man, that would be an awesome video game. Something like that. Now, there's some that won't translate perfectly to another form of media. A lot of times, books turn out to be terrible movies. You have some that are good, but a majority of them just turn out to be terrible movies. Like, they might just completely miss the point. They'll go completely off topic. Go look at Stephen King's Dark Tower movie. That is a huge disappointment, especially if you've read the books, know the world. It's tragedy. If you don't know anything about it, it might be kind of entertaining, but still not the greatest movie ever. Good cast. Great casting. Just terrible movie. But that's kind of what I want to talk about today, is my favorite book, The Name of the Wind by Patrick Rothfuss, is just fantastic. Like, this is a great book. And I know there's been talks, I know on Reddit especially, people talk about like, hey, it's going to get a TV show, it's going to get a movie. And that's kind of what I want to talk about. How I want to see this go, like what I want it to turn into. And that would be two things. I don't want a movie. I don't feel movies are set up perfectly for books. If you do, it needs to be like a multi-series movie. Like Lord of the Rings. It's kind of 4 or 5 movies worth. And if you look at the extended cuts, that's kind of what it is. It turns out to be like 6 movies total or something like that because of the crazy runtime. But there's like Dune, and Dune has a lot that happens, and we kind of shove it into like this 2-hour block. And it's got a lot there, but it's missing some. You even have the Lord of the Rings. In the first one, they cut out a big character, at least what I think is a big character in that universe, which is Tom Bombadil. Super OP, powerful god type character. Fantastic. And they sadly cut him out. Even though they should have left him, because that would have been the most fantastic thing. Then you'd look at the end and be like, well, Tom could have taken this out by himself. It's whatever. Anyways, the two things I would like to see The Name of the Wind turn into. That would be 1, a video game, and 2, a TV show. And when I say TV show, it would have to be, like, honestly, one of the streaming services. So it's got to be like HBO Max, Amazon Prime, or like Netflix quality of show. It's got to have that big budget behind it. It's got to have good graphics. It's going to be a crazy expensive show. I mean, Disney could do it too. Something about Disney just rubs me wrong, especially with Disney Plus, whatever it's called. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like they're worse than Netflix when it comes to killing off their shows. Even though Netflix is still kind of the king of like, hey, you see this cool show? We're going to cancel it today. So it's iffy. I would like to see this TV show take place in a world where, shows don't just get canceled after like half an episode that everybody didn't watch, like the whole world didn't watch at once, and then watch it again immediately afterwards. That would be cool. But yeah, so for a TV show, in order for it to work, it's really got to follow the story. So it's going to start off very slow. And that's okay, to be honest. Like, there's a few TV shows that start off just extremely slow. People didn't like it. It happens. Like, you have The Office. There's the US Office. A lot of people don't like season 1. And I kind of get it. It's a little cringe. I find it hilarious, but I'm a big fan of Steve Carell. So, kind of fits in there. Watched him on The Daily Show and all that. But, you can have a slow show because it's going to pick up later on. Before the end of the first season of this show, you will have a lot of action going on. You will have things taking place. By then he'll be in the town where he's being a little thief boy, and it's an adventure. It really can pull you in. The whole I mean, if you ever read this book, I definitely suggest go read it. I mean, this is my 3rd copy of the book, or 4th copy. I've given out a few. You'll understand what I mean by it can start off slow and be fine. A game is probably going to have a little more action. Just because in a game, like I've already done a video on like what makes a good game like good. So in a good game, you've got to have like stuff going on, obviously. Like you have to have something going on. Unless this is going to be like just a point and click adventure where nothing happens, you just solve some riddles. And that, I mean, honestly, that could work. This could be just the newest like point and click puzzle solving game. And it would still work for what it is. But I'm thinking this more of like a Witcher style RPG, because that's kind of what the world reminds me of slightly. I mean, it's not as dead and demonic as some of the stuff going on in The Witcher. I can't even call it demonic. It's not demons, but you know what I mean. It's weird. It's a weird fantasy world with like some dark stuff going on. You have witches and trolls and whatnot. But you are playing a game involving magic, and it's with a character who takes a while to learn his magic, because the magic in this world works a little bit differently. If you don't know, I'll give you a little rundown. It's called the Name of the Wind because in order to do wind magic, you need to literally say the name of the wind. The thing with the Name of the Wind is it constantly changes as much as the wind blows. So it'll be having like a gust and it'll change like 2 or 3 times. But people who are able to speak the name of the wind will hear it and be able to say it and do their spell. And that's how they do the spells with the name. Like words have power, which is really cool. And it kind of works kind of like Skyrim. And that's the vein of game I'm kind of thinking of for this. Be a Skyrim-esque type game, but kind of like mix in some Hogwarts Legacy style aspects to it, where you're going to school and you have stuff like that. So it's going to be partial life simmy with action, adventure, role-playing mechanics, which would kind of make sense because you have to earn money to stay in school. So you're going to be doing jobs and whatnot. You're going to have your action going on because some of those jobs will probably be quests that require you to go get stuff, kill some enemies, something like that. And it would be really cool. You're also going to have like fist fights with the main character. He's going to have to do stuff. He's going to have to cast magic on things. It's going to be a very action-packed game in the end. It might start off kind of slow at first where you're doing the story, but that's literally every RPG. There's a little bit of story before you get going. Think of Skyrim. You're sitting in a wagon, listening to some people talk about the world as you're just kind of sitting there like, okay, I'm waiting. Just waiting. Just waiting. Just waiting. Yeah, so a action RPG, Skyrim, I would probably prefer third person, only because in this one, you're not going to be creating your own character. I mean, you very well could just be another kid in the school and see the adventures going on, but I feel like most people are going to want to be Kavoth, which I can understand why. He is one of the coolest characters ever. I mean, Name of the Wind, the series it's from is the King Killer Chronicles. He's the King Killer, and we definitely all want to know about the king he killed, which is hopefully happening in book 3 whenever that comes out. Yeah, this is something that would be fantastic. You have the settings for it. If you think about, like, for TV shows, you have the settings for it. If you just think about all those CW shows, and, I mean, heck, we've had a bunch of them. It's going to be like a Xena type show. It's going to have that same type of setting. You're going to be out in the forest of some other country, but it's going to look like this mythical land. I mean, go back and look at Lord of the Rings. They nailed it. They went to a place that looked like what we wanted, so they went to New Zealand. It gave us everything we needed for a lot of those scenes. Yeah, we could always just have it set in England, New Zealand, something like that, and it'll just look like it. And we do it with movies all the time. Location is not going to be that much of an issue. It'll probably cost some money. We got to pay for that, so again, budget, but this needs to be a big budget production. Especially when it gets into like the magic. How are you going to show the wind? We tried to have Dragon Ball Evolution do the key as airbending, and that was a disaster. that was terrible. I love the movie. It's terrible. It's one of those like cringe watch things. There's aspects that are interesting. There's decent actors in it, and then it's just a disaster. Complete and utter disaster. So there's an actor I think who would be perfect to play Kavoth, especially like when he's in school and whatnot, because the guy still looks young, even though he's not exactly the youngest. And it kind of shames me to say this because I don't like the actor much, mainly because of 2 roles he's played that I don't feel were great. And they're 2 like very iconic characters too. That would be Nathan Drake and Peter Parker. So yeah, Tom Holland. Like Tom Holland, somehow give him like a very realistic looking red wig so he can look like Kavoth, like that fiery red hair. And he would be perfect for like him for Kavoth in both the first and second book. Like you're gonna have to get a younger actor for the very beginning, but he'll turn into Kavoth, like the one that we know from the books. He would be great. Like honestly, he would be fantastic. And yeah, given I don't like those 2 characters he's played, he has been in good roles, he's been in good movies. It's just those 2 tarnish it for me. I don't like his Spider-Man much. And that's probably not even because of him, it's the writing of it, the direction they went with it. I don't like it at all. That's personal opinion though. Yeah, so there. We already have a name that we could attach to it. Like this is a good choice. And that's good. That's a start. And that would be a big budget actor, so hey, we're getting the big budget thing going on. And I mean, heck, we could even have the same people, if they're going to do a game and a movie, have the game be voiced by the same people and have it be done well. Like, I don't want some like throwaway old back in the day Nintendo Game Boy Advanced version of a movie. Like that was always trash. Like they weren't the best. They were kind of thrown out in like 20 minutes. And it's kind of like, because they're like, E.T. happened once, so let's just make another trash game. Because this will never happen again. I don't know why it never happened again. It should have. But I guess none of these movies were big enough to cause a disaster like E.T. Who knows? Who knows? There's some bad games out there. Very bad games. Yeah, especially, and if you have that big budget to go with it, you can do the dragon right. Because there is a dragon at the end. It's a fantasy book. There's going to be weird monsters. But also, we're going to have music. That's another big thing in this is he plays an instrument and you got to have the music go with it. Like that's a big part, especially of the first book. That is a big part of it, is him being a musician. Him being a musician, being basically a great mage, trouble going on at the school. It's a lot. It's beautiful. And I would love to see that both in the game and in the TV show. TV show, they'll get it. But the game, one thing that I remember happening that just kind of like shocked me is in The Last of Us 2, there's a section where you could play the guitar. And you had people going on there and just literally playing the game to play the guitar. Like you had Mark Hoppus. He went on there and he started playing some of his songs on the guitar in the game. I thought that was beautiful. That was fantastic. I absolutely love that. We need more things like
me. I won't try to argue, hold it against you. I know that you're leaving. You must have your reasons. Wait, how's the lyrics go? Must have your reasons. I know that you're leaving. You must have your reasons. What's the next line? Oh, yeah, that's right. The season is calling, and your pictures, they're falling down.
Like that. More, and I don't want music to be like Guitar Hero. I'm not the biggest on Guitar Hero. It was a big craze, and it just never caught on with me. I liked playing it on the controller rather than the little gimmicky plastic thing that just didn't feel right. Gosh, and I worked at a game store when that came out, or when that was still a thing, when Guitar Hero was still a thing. It was right around the time Rock Band came out, and that was the one time I found out a lot of people who play instruments don't like Guitar Hero. And I get why. I mean, I play instruments. I don't like Guitar Hero. All right, so while we're on the topic of Guitar Hero really quick, this is something I found out after I had already recorded this video. Apparently, in 2025, we are getting a new Guitar Hero controller for the Wii. I don't get it. I just honestly don't. Yeah, anyway, side tangent over. Yeah, I mean, if you just basically take the book and turn it into one of these things, it will work. You have to add in some content, maybe change some things, but nothing major would need to be changed, like, at all. And it's great. Same for the game. Like, not much would have to be changed in this world to make it work. You could just go out there and kind of fluff it out to where you do have, like I said, side quests. Side quests obviously weren't really in the book, but this is going to be what happens alongside the book, kind of make it more of a full thing. I mean, I'm not trying to say like the book's not a full book, obviously. It is. It's a great book. But in order for it to translate properly, you do have to add fluff, like side things to make it playable. Same thing in a TV show. If you just follow the book page for page, you could have like a 2,000-hour movie type thing, or you would add fluff and change a couple things just to make it flow on screen. Happens with everything. Some things go too far and you have like the studio interference, but that's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about things that just tweak it. Yeah, so for the game, you have like this nice third-person action-adventure RPG with full of side quests. You get to play music. You get to run a bar at times too, because we'd want to put in like adult Kavoth since he's the one telling the story to the chronicler. It would be fantastic. Great story's already set up there. The premise is perfect for a game. And then for the TV show, you would just have it jump back and forth. It would basically just be a constant ongoing story where maybe at the beginning of every episode, you're back in the tavern and adult Kavoth is telling his story. It works out perfectly. It would be nice. People would be able to stay into it. It's kind of like How I Met Your Mother, because How I Met Your Mother is the dad telling his kids how he met their mom. And it works perfectly. It'd be a nice little shoe-in. Plus, this is a comedy action, because there is a lot of funny stuff that happens in this. It would be great. It would be great. This is something I definitely want to see. I hope they do go through with it. I hope the third book comes out at some point so I could read that and then obsess over the whole series again and again and again, since that's something I love to do with this book. Again, Name of the Wind, fantastic book. Definitely go check it out. Stay tuned, because you probably will eventually get some more word on, hey, is there going to be a TV show? Is there going to be something else going along with this? I think Patrick Rothfuss would love that. He would definitely be into the fact that it got turned into a game somehow. I would like to have him have input in whatever they do. Like, definitely bring him on and have him be like a overseer, kind of like how we have with the One Piece live action show. We actually have the creator being there, giving his input, and that's why that show on Netflix turned out to be very well done. We actually have the creator working on it, which is something we need. Dragon Ball Evolution, which I mentioned earlier. It would have been better had like Toriyama somehow been involved with that. Had they consulted him and been like, hey dude, should we do this? Because he probably would have looked at him and been like, yeah, no, you shouldn't. You shouldn't do any of that. Yeah, that's just me. But anyways, tell me, have you ever read Name of the Wind? Do you know what I'm talking about? I'm sure if you're into fantasy and stuff like that, you've probably seen Patrick Rothfuss on different things. Here's an image of him right here. Yeah, he's fantastic. I love his work. Can't wait for the third book. I hope we get this game. Like, I hope like I'm kind of willing it into existence, because that would be the most dope thing ever if I had those kind of powers, just to will things into existence. Superpowers. Anyways, yeah. Let me know what you think, and if you have anything you want us to talk about in the future, just let us know, and we'll bring it up at some point. And until next time, you take care. Hey, thanks for watching.
Give us a like if you enjoyed it, and dislike it if you didn't.
Let us know what you think about the channel.
And don't forget to subscribe.
Tell your mom.